History of C Sharp. During the development of the .NET framework, the class libraries were originally written using a managed code compiler system called Simple Managed C or SMC. In January 1999, Anders Hellsberg formed a team to build a new language at the time called COOL, which stood for C like Object-Oriented Language. Microsoft had considered keeping the name Cool as the final name of the language, but chose not to do so for trademark reasons. By the time the .NET project was publicly announced at the July 2000 Professional Developers Conference, the language had been renamed C Sharp, and the class libraries and ASP.NET runtime had been ported to C Sharp. C Sharp's principal designer and lead architect at Microsoft is Anders Hellsberg, who was previously involved with the design of Turbo Pascal, Embarcadero Delphi, formerly Coutier Delphi, Enterprise Delphi, and Borland Delphi, and Visual J++. In interviews and technical papers, he has stated that flaws in most major programming languages, just like C++, Java, Delphi, and Smalltalk, drove the fundamentals of the Common Language Runtime or CLR, which in turn drove the design of the C# language itself. James Gosling, who created the Java programming language in 1984, and Bill Joy, a co-founder of Sun Microsystems, the originator of Java, called C# an imitation of Java. Gosling further said that C# is a sort of Java with reliability, productivity, and security deleted. Klaus Kraft and Angelica Langer, authors of a C# Streams book, stated in a blog post that Java and C# are almost identical programming languages, boring repetition that lacks innovation. Hardly anybody will claim that Java or C# are revolutionary programming languages that changed the way we write programs, and C# borrowed a lot from Java, and vice versa. Now that C# supports boxing and unboxing, you will have a very similar feature in Java. In 2000, Anders Hellsberg said that C# is not a Java clone and is much closer to C++ in its design. Since the release of C# 2.0 in November 2005, the C# and Java languages have evolved on increasingly divergent trajectories, becoming somewhat less similar. One of the first major departures came with the addition of generics to both languages, with vastly different implementations. C# makes use of reification to provide first-class generic objects that can be used like any other class, with code generation performed at class load time. Furthermore, C# has added several major features to accommodate functional style programming, culminating in the LINQ extensions released with C# 3.0. It is supporting framework of lambda expressions, extension methods, and anonymous types. These features enable C# programmers to use functional programming techniques such as closures when it is advantageous for their application. The LINQ extensions and the functional imports help developers reduce the amount of boilerplate code that is included in common tasks like querying a database, parsing an XML file, or searching through a data structure, shifting the emphasis onto the actual program logic to help improve readability and maintainability. C# used to have a mascot called Andy, named after Anders Hellsberg. It was retired on January 29, 2004. C# was originally submitted to the ISO subcommittee JTC1/SC22 for review under ISO IEC 23270-2003, was withdrawn and was then approved under ISO IEC 23270-2006.